Spectacle. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigerian. I am Daniel Atai. Spectacle on Television Nigerian.
No doubt, the violence, crimes, terrorism, and banditry being experienced in some part of Nigeria and the sub-Saharan region has been largely due to the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Our focus would be in Nigeria, as the #1 citizen in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari himself is beginning to wonder how possible could terrorists have access to arms. And this is because of the efforts so far put in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria and in West Africa at large. We shall also be looking into the bargain from Governor Otom of Benue State that the FG should allow citizens to carry arms, since terrorists and bandits could have undeniable access to arms. This, the governor asks, in order for citizens to defend themselves against death and wanton criminality from these murderers. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. We take a short break, and when we come back, our security expert in the studio will do justice to the reports that we have for you. You too could call us or join our Zoom to connect from wherever you are watching, and then as well as commenting on our social media platform that you are viewing through. Please stay tuned.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now saying that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Salimama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he's fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Welcome back. And like I said, I have Mr. Inalego Wezin on the hot seat of Spectacle on Television Nigeria today. Inalego Wezin is a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police and a security consultant. Welcome to Spectacle, sir.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are in social distance, so you can keep it there. No problem. We have quarantined you before you came in. Anyway, he is going to be dealing with the reports that we're about to give to you. We'll start with that of Mr. President frowning at the proliferation of small and light weapons across the country, and is wondering why that the land borders are closed. Why should we still have arms? Bandits and terrorists are still, carrying out some heinous crimes with those arms. And we have that report for you to enjoy.
How do terrorists get arms despite borders closure? Buhari queries security chiefs. And he says Boko Haram not better equipped than military. That is our #1 citizen of the country talking. President Muhammadu Buhari has queried security and intelligence chiefs on how possible it is for terrorists to have access to the arms they use despite the closure of the nation's land borders. Speaking at a virtual meeting with state governors and heads of security agencies, coordinated from the presidential villa, Abuja, on Tuesday, the president expressed concern that in spite of the fact that borders with neighboring countries had been shut, bandits and terrorists continued to have access to small weapons. These terrorists are in the localities. How is it that they are not short of small arms? He queried the security and intelligence chiefs. The meeting ended with a call for a joint strategy to bring various conflicts to an end within time limits, while field commanders would take measures to protect civilian communities as a confidence-building mechanism between the military and those communities. It focused on the country's security policies and approaches in tackling the internal security challenges, with a charge that intelligence gathering and sharing must be optimized for the nation to secure itself. The participants expressed the hope that when the trust that has been lost between both parties is re-established, there would be improved cooperation in intelligence gathering and sharing. According to a statement issued, Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in Abuja, the meeting also agreed that poverty and youth unemployment are at the root of the national security challenges and needed to be addressed with greater vigor by all tiers of government. The President used the opportunity to dispel commonly held assumptions that the terrorists in the Northeast had far more weapons and money than the government, stressing that what is left of them are mere scavengers desperate for food, raiding shops and markets and killing innocent persons in the process. President Buhari reiterated his call for the security chiefs to retool their strategies, saying, "We have said enough on the need for them to rejig their operations. I am glad that there are better synergy and cooperation which are very important. I have directed the service chiefs to meet among themselves in between the National Security Council meeting. The services have resources. Yes, they need more and mobility and are doing their best, but there is a need for better gathering and interpretation of intelligence. Our intelligence gathering must be improved." President Buhari also expressed satisfaction with the level of support from neighboring countries in the war against terrorism. "They are cooperating with us. On Boko Haram, we are making progress with Benin, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon," he said, while restating that intelligence gathering must improve to be able to track small arms in the Northwest, North Central, and Northeast states. The president also expressed satisfaction with the level of naval activity in the Gulf of Guinea using newly acquired equipment, but demanded that hard-to-reach areas of Lake Chad, where Boko Haram terrorists have found new havens, as well as the forest now inhabited by bandits, must be assessed and rid of nefarious elements. The Chief of Defense Staff has spoken about their study of the forest and their potential danger to security. "We must make sure we follow the bandits and terrorists, but there must not be deforestation in view of the climate situation," said President Buhari. In their submissions anchored by the chairman, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State and Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, the governors highlighted the problems of poverty, unemployment, the trust deficit between the military and civilian populations, and the inflow of small arms into the country. The governors also pointed the problem of coordination among military and security chiefs and played up their own security roles, which included the $1 billion they allowed the president to withdraw from the Axis crude account for weapons procurement 2 years ago. They therefore urged the president to consider a bailout for security for the state in view of the enormity of the resources they now expend in support of the military and the police. The 3-hour virtual meeting, coordinated by President Buhari and attended by the Vice President, Professor Emil Sibanjo, heads of defense, security and intelligence and agencies, and members of the Security Committee of the Nigerian Governors Forum, represented by one governor from each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Welcome back. That was how the president put the responsibility of the proliferation of arms on the security chiefs to deal with. And we have a security expert in the studio, Nalego Wesin, AIG retired. Sir, you have heard the report yourself, and the number one citizen has come out clearly to say there is no justification for the proliferation of arms, small arms and light weapons. We know perhaps these things can't be stopped, but the borders are closed, the land borders are closed. What could you say are the reasons for this proliferation despite the border closure?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I think every Nigerian or every person resident in Nigeria must be concerned about the level of violence across the land, made more possible by the availability of light weapons.
Okay.
Of course, we have a law, the Firearms Act 1990,
Okay.
Which confers on the president the power to issue licenses for automatic weapons and for others on the exploratory place. And of course, they've not authorized so many people to bear firearms in the country.
Okay, but we're also going to ask you why.
Yes.
Why is that happening?
Now, our borders are definitely porous. If you can smuggle a car into the country or smuggle rice, that's the same way. It's just as night follows the day. It's also possible.
All right.
And of course, we've had a lot of violence around us. In Mali, the situation in Chad, in the
Chad
recent past,
and Sudan.
And the Sudan. These are even the Central African Republic. And because we share common border with some of these countries, it's quite easy for unscrupulous individuals, criminal elements, to come with these weapons into the country. And I tell you one thing: the challenge of light weapons has been there for quite some time, but I think now it has assumed a very dangerous proportion. And I tell you why.
Okay.
In 2006, when I was on a peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone, one of the things we're dealing with, because of the violence in Liberia and Sierra Leone, the United Nations Development Office, UNDP office in Sierra Leone, had to set up a light weapon part to take care of the whole of West Africa.
Okay.
And so some of our officers participated in that program. And so what I want to say, that challenge has been there. But for countries, adequate policing of the borders will help a lot to mitigate the importing, let me say, or the unlawful importation of these firearms. Because where you have, if I can graze my animals across, there are so many causes. You walk across our borders, basically, is it Benin Republic?
In the West African region.
In the West Africa, is it Katsina? Is it?
What are the army? The army, are they not mounting?
No, they are.
The borders, the customs, and even the police, special forces.
It should have been nice if every crime can be stopped.
Okay.
We have checkpoints.
Okay.
But you know that it is basically, it is fruitless. And will they use the highways? How do they time their movement? Do you have bush paths? If I am carrying a vehicle carrying perhaps rice or whatever, is it possible at every checkpoint you get to, that all these things are flooded. But there is a solution. And that is the solution the president did emphasize. And that's the aspect of the report that I consider very, very useful. The aspect of intelligence.
Yeah.
Everything. You can have all the borders. Even America, as sophisticated as they are. Smugglers, drug smugglers from Mexico and other places still find it. Some, they are even digging tunnels to pass train. And you're talking of light weapon.
Yeah.
But, and that is why the various security agencies, especially the Nigerian Police Force, consciously has talked about and implementing the community policing program, designed specifically to increase the confidence of the public on the police and other security agencies. Everything we are saying as far as security, kidnapping, banditry, theft of vehicles, snatching of vehicles, you can prevent crime and the fear of crime through physical deployment.
Okay.
But beneath this is intelligence gathering, and acquisition, processing, and utilization. And this is the way to go. And it's about, and that is why the police and the public, or the security agencies and the public, having respect for human rights, and so that the public can really begin to see the security agencies as people in uniform helping them. That indeed, all of us, if whether you are in uniform or out of uniform, that the police and other security agencies are just part of the society that have been given uniform. That all of us are, first of all, police officers.
Yes.
DSS.
As citizens.
As citizens.
Okay.
As good citizens.
As good citizens.
So, it is that is the gap that must be urgently filled.
All right. When we take the second story about the demand or the plea from Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, we would actually ask you to kind of find a nexus between them to see whether it is possible for citizens now to carry arms, since the bandits and the terrorists are also having access to arms. So that will be the next story. Yes, and we'll take that story from Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, making case for citizens to carry arms, especially to defend themselves in times of crisis, or in times of robbery, harassment crisis, terrorism, or banditry. And we want to also have your take from wherever you're watching us, because this is becoming unbecoming. Whether is it because citizens don't carry arms and criminals have access to arms, and then they terrorize citizens? And if we carry arms to defend ourselves, how would the country be? So your take and mine is as good as well in this program. The numbers are displayed on your screen, but after this report of Governor Samuel Otom making a plea to the FG, asking them to license arms to citizens. Please enjoy it. Allow our citizens to carry AK-47, Otom urges federal government. The Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has called on the federal government to allow responsible citizens to carry sophisticated weapons such as AK-47 as a way to fight insecurity in the country. The governor stated this in a paper presented on Tuesday during a virtual meeting convened by Center for Values in Leadership, CVL, in collaboration with the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF. That the Nigerian News report on Wednesday that Mr. Otom said the policy should be backed by a strict legal framework to prevent illegal possession of arms by the citizenry without exception. His paper was titled Insecurity and Governance, Challenges in the new normal. The governor recently clashed with the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria over the group's plan to set up vigilante group in Benue. Otom also urged the federal government to increase funding for the security agencies to enable them tackle insecurity. He also advocated for ranching as the best practice of animal husbandry. Otom concluded his presentation by stating that Benue State has made significant contributions to national development, and as a food basket of the nation, if the state is threatened, it will be very, very bad. And therefore, he asked the federal government to allow them to carry arms, and if possible, licensed arms.
Welcome back. And of course, AIG, you are still in the office, in the studio. Now, you saw the judgment and the comparison of the demand made by Governor Otom. And in our society today, the rate of crime, especially banditry and terrorism, wanton killings, sometimes people are helpless. Is it not time for citizens to truly carry arms to defend themselves?
The concern, and I dare say the frustration of His Excellency Governor Otom is understandable.
Okay.
You are not armed, somebody attacks you in your home, and because he's armed, you get killed.
Yes.
It can make anybody to express such frustration.
Do you think it's frustration?
Well, that's why I dare say. Then again, those are things that can be discussed. But the problem that I have at this stage of heightened insecurity, at this stage that there is a massive public outcry against insecurity, if we begin to arm all the citizens at this particular time, those are subject matters for, I believe, for another day. Why do I say that? Yes, in other countries, in the US, even in Namibia,
okay,
in 1990, 1990, while I was there, the citizens could bear a weapon.
Okay.
Especially they had Mark III, which in Nigeria you couldn't have.
That's Mark III.
Mark III. Our police were using Mark IV. Okay. So when I go to Namibia, I was surprised that you could just, they were just carried like dengue.
And walking about.
But our situation is a little bit different.
How different?
Yeah, because there's a level of polarization along so many lines. And so, what I would try to say is, the enforcement of the relevant provisions of the Firearms Act should be strictly enforced. Because the Firearms Act says you can be issued a license approved by the President or the Inspector General of Police if you are up to 17, above 17 years.
Above 18 or 17?
17.
Okay.
Then you must be of temperate behavior. You must not have been convicted of a crime of violence or threat to in the last 5 years.
Okay.
It could be it could be issued. Okay. But then even the firearms, the IG or the Commissioner of Police will approve. It's for gaming, for hunting, not for self-protection.
For hunting, rather.
Yes. So
for hunting animals.
Yes, because you could have rifle clubs. There are in some parts of the country.
Yeah, you go to game.
Yes, you go to game. Then you have rifle club that they will have you and I and a few of us can set up a rifle club. We have our chairman, we have our secretary, we have our memorandum of understanding, and the commissioner of police in that area will be aware of us. When we finish, we gather our weapons into his armory so that they are controlled. The essence is, you could not be given automatic rifle. But in time to come, there are issues of community police, state police, there's agitation for that. There's also, it will come to a point that the situation will so improve that citizens can be issued with firearm. Right now, if you apply that you are a hunter and provided it is not self-loading, that is not automatic, it's not an AK. Let me just put it like that.
Is a pump action?
A pump action is self-loading because if you load like 5 rounds, you don't need to reload. Okay. So that one is semi-automatic, more or less. So, but those ones, shotgun, like double barrel, they will give you, but it's not for self-protection because the state has an obligation and a duty to protect you. So commenting on what His Excellency the Governor has said, those are issues that in due time is going to be addressed. I hope you understand.
Yeah.
Because and I, to some extent, let me tell you one thing. I think it will come to a level. Let me make one comment. Let me use this opportunity to say something.
Okay.
The number of police officers is not that adequate for
the population of the country, the citizens.
No. But there is you can optimize the number the strength that you have.
Okay.
Perhaps it should get to a level instead of licensing individuals.
You can license community.
You could have standard security companies.
Okay.
Like I think we have the G4 in the UK also. So that some of these supermarkets that you have police officers or whatever providing security, you could have 1 or 2 standard
security outfits.
Yes, private security to provide jobs for young people, provide jobs for some of the unemployed.
You can train people.
Now these people will be strictly supervised by the Nigerian Police Force, so that if you have a supermarket, and then you don't get beyond a pistol.
Okay.
Instead of licensing every person, why don't we open a discussion?
It's still monopolistic.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
Why don't we begin to think of opening up a discussion, having a kind of security company, so that these guys, before they employ, the police would have done proper background check. They have taken their photograph, they've taken their fingerprints, and whatever weapon that is issued to this security company, the police has a record. So that wherever something happens, it's to trace it. In that way, the number of officers available may be enhanced. So that I'm talking of optimization as the manager that I am.
Yes.
I studied management studies.
Okay.
I'm just thinking that instead of making it everybody at this stage, so that when you start at that level, you now begin to say you begin to say, just like you now give weapons for licensing for gaming, you now begin to look at individuals and say, okay, this guy, he's responsible, he's a known businessman. Maybe we can start with a pistol.
He's cool-tempered.
Yes, it's a balanced personality.
And
it's
he
not
has
intemperate.
He has no criminal record.
He's above 17. He doesn't have a criminal record of violence. And that is happening. It is only the president who can sit down at I and say, Danatai is responsible. And you make an application. And the commissioner of police or a senior officer recommends that, look, Danatai is of temperate behavior, no record of violence, either domestic or in public. I'm trying to say, I have raised an issue that I say, perhaps,
yes,
instead of.
But what the governor wants is in tune with what many Nigerians would want at the time being, that the law be reviewed. Okay, for instance, you said that the responsibility or the of protecting lives and properties is
the rest of the state,
the obligation of the state.
Yes.
And now
the state have deficiency in terms of security operatives or even mounting. So that is why what we have today, we have insecurity.
No, what I'm saying is,
and like you have also agreed
with me, it's about the public.
Yeah, the public.
Cooperating, collaborating more, being more public spirited, being more showing more public spirited, being more interested that the times have changed, and that is why I think the president hammered on intelligence. You see, if at this stage everybody, but I tell you, I'm sorry. If the president thinks Wilson Enaligo is qualified to have an AK-47, he can give me.
Yeah, but
he can approve.
Yes, okay.
Yes,
he can approve.
Yes,
but when he thinks that somebody is qualified, but because of political standing, and we say no, I will not give to you.
No.
Yes, because it can happen. So there is need for the law to be reviewed.
No. If the law at this stage, I will want to caution, and with due respect to all those who want to own gun, but a lot of Nigerians today have a shotgun that they have license for.
Okay.
Yes, they have.
Or for gaming.
Yeah, that is the purpose.
Okay.
It's not for, because the state has the duty to protect.
And if an enemy comes
to
me, like a terrorist, for instance, like a terrorist comes after me, maybe to my community or attack my community, and I used the licensed gun I have from the police to defend my people, to kill them, will I go in for it?
We have to be careful about causing communal clash.
Yes.
The point you are going is, we want to take the violence to another level. That means community A, community B, this one acquires, that one acquires.
Not everybody. Not necessarily engage. If you know that I have weapon, and I know that you have weapon, you'll be scared of coming to make trouble with me.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you have gun violence in the U.S.?
We have gun violence.
Don't people have permits to buy guns? They do. So the solution, and I want you to really give me time to explain this.
Yeah, they are watching you. A lot of people are watching you. And audience, if you are watching, please, sir, you can participate by sending your comment via the means you are watching us through. You can as well through our social media platforms, and you can as well call the numbers displayed on your screen.
You know, when my former boss, IGP Suleiman Abba, I watched him on channels yesterday, and I was quite impressed with his deliverance.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is, security is not just about guns. Security is about cooperation and collaboration.
Okay.
I can be sitting in a tank, armored tank, with a big cannon. If I am not alert, if I don't know that environment I am, somebody can just come with an ordinary cutlass and cut you.
It's true.
And carry that to your destiny.
Exactly.
So I want you to understand something that, and I'm hammering on one thing. What I am hammering on is about intelligence. And that this intelligence is not the way you look at it. Intelligence can be you. The information, you are leaving Gusape and going to Garki. What you see along the road that is not clear to you, and you draw the attention of appropriate security agencies to it, and they take it from there, you are developing intelligence.
Okay.
And that is why, when we try to emphasize that the relevant security agencies must be temperate in their operations, in their work, so that the public get to trust them. The public get to trust them.
But how many are there? You yourself have said that we don't have enough of them.
Now, let me tell you one thing. Because if you look at it as, I have gun, you have gun. You have heard of ambush. You can have all the guns in your community. and we are monitoring you. We know when you lose your guard.
Yeah.
When you are off guard with that, we just attack you and collect all the
guns, the
all the
weapons you
rifles.
have. Yes.
So the point I'm making is, we must be very careful that what we need is to continue to urge government to live up to her responsibility of providing security of life and property, which is the main purpose of government. And that in doing this is by challenging government. And by challenging is, you say, look, in our community, we went to the police station. They don't even have a vehicle. So when we call on them, how can they come?
Exactly.
We reported. This is what it, holding the security agencies and government accountable. When you do this on a sustained basis, everybody wake up to his responsibility. What I'm advocating, therefore, is accountability. Let the DPO be accountable. Let the governor be accountable. Let everybody that is in that position, and even the public, even that child, that old woman, that old man, that young man who sees. Let me tell you, some of the times you look at we use a lot of technology in our policing.
I want to ask you a question before you go into that your police technology, because I know you people don't have much technology. You don't have much.
I'll tell you the one we have.
The one you have has not been sufficient to protecting lives and properties. For instance, in Benue, why the governor is coming out to shout and to beg like this, since inception, we've had couple of, herdsmen clashes, wanton killings, indiscriminate ones.
It's terrible.
And then it's heart aching that you just sit down and you just can't defend yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Some people just come into your community.
I didn't condemn the call.
You understand?
I am saying
so
that.
In that regard, would it be wrong for people to defend themselves? Because if you actually say the state has the obligation and the state is not carrying out the obligation.
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
If I now want to box you, what do you do?
I will defend myself, and I will even box you back.
It's a natural instinct.
Yeah, okay.
That does not need overflogging. If you plant a flower here in this dark room here, it will look for where the light is because it wants to survive. Self-defense is a natural thing.
It's a natural thing.
If I take a knife to kill you, and I grab a wood in defending myself, and am I criminally responsible in defense of self or property? So I don't want to go there and say an AIG retired is saying that we have the right to defend. What I'm trying to say is that these calls are understandable, but that pulling ourselves together, the public cooperating with the Nigerian Police Force, with the DSS, with the military, that and other relevant security agencies, that if we pull this cooperation together. Let me give you an example. There was a time when I was a commissioner of police in one of the states, and we arrested an individual and we wanted to recover weapons. We didn't get the bid, but when we interacted with the guy, he took us to a location he had buried an AK-47.
Okay.
He had buried. So even if we are not within the camp, so even if we had gone to the camp and ransacked everywhere, but somebody had earlier hinted us, this guy has weapon. When we were interrogated, we said he didn't have. We said you have. But the guy who informed on him didn't tell us where he came. But the guy himself took us to where we dug the ground, where the AK-47 had been neatly wrapped.
Okay.
Which means anytime he wants to go on whatever he wants to go, he removes it. Even if I didn't make any point in the studio.
Yes.
The point I want you to note, number one, the times we are cause for loss of caution.
Okay.
Secondly, it calls for cooperation with relevant security agencies and authority by way of sharing information on the need to know. Even if you don't trust the man, the patrolman, trust the DPO, trust the commissioner of police. That in this way, and then another
exactly.
Yes.
You have a point there.
Yes.
Because sometimes the men on patrol could just be.
And another thing is, within the security arrangement, which they popularly call security architecture, at the village level, there should be a security committee in a village.
Yes.
Before local government. Now, why did I say in a village? When you are in the village, the villager, the village head, or the village councillor calls people together once in 3 months, quarterly. The mere fact that they talk about security, they say, look, let's just meet for 30 minutes. When we meet, has anything threatened us in this community? They say, some people came here. Mr. John gave them land, they are farming. But in their farm, we observe that when they are going, they carry something that looks like gun. Do you know that can make a lot of difference?
Exactly.
So if we take it from bottom up like that, and then
intelligent gathering,
and the up is interested in looking at what comes from bottom. Let me give you an example. When I was in Sierra Leone, we were having a security, local government security meetings. And then we extended it to the village. And the local chiefs, somebody came. I was preaching. You know what they had? They nipped his activity in the bud, and it didn't convert a lot of people. They said, what this man has brought to this community is very strange. We are all of this religion, we are all of that religion. And all of them unanimously agreed. And they exiled the man to a faraway community. And he was under observation. Let me tell you, if you like, do you understand me?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Permit everybody to carry gun. Buy the most sophisticated weapon. What is going to do us is us coming together and being interested in the business of the other man. Not out of malice, but giving relevant information. And when the information you give is not properly attended to, find a way of going to a higher authority. Then, in curbing these light weapons, I want to draw the attention of, apart from the borders, I want to draw the attention of our respected police force, DSS, civil defense, military intelligence, and the rest of it. All these quasi-vigilante people coming up. It is good to see. Let one day, let a call be made. Let's have a data on the weapons. Because when you are talking of proliferation, let us have a record. So if we have a Motekun in Ondo State,
let's say in the southwest,
or somewhere, let's know how many Dane guns
they have.
The IG, through the firearms or CP or AIG, should know, Ametokun, they have this number of Dane guns. They have this number of machete. They have this number bows and arrows.
And they have this number of the other one.
So, and then when you have a means of checking, you will see the same thing. If you go to the northeast, for example, and the hunters who are helping, let us know how many they are. What caliber of weapon are they using? How do they store them? Who is the armorer? How do they acquire their cartridges or other ammunition? Now, when we check through, do we have prohibited firearms among them? Because we've got to be careful. When we are talking of proliferation, it could come in various forms. Those who occupy the bushes and ungoverned spaces, we look at them. And then we neglect those that have some semi-official backing. They are assisting security agencies. But we have record of them.
Okay, like where...
So I'm saying, I'm advocating that the respective security agencies in the various commands and stations should endeavor consciously. If they have, it's good. But it's good to be checking it all the time. That we have this security outfit here. Might be I don't know what name to call. Might be the...
Let's say Amoteco, for
instance. Might be Amoteco, might be Hunter, might be Vigilante. And then you say, where is your territory? What do you have to do your work? Who keeps them? How do you monitor their going out and coming in?
You may not want to tell you. They may not want to tell you.
Because that is a protocol we have in the force. If I want to send my officers on duty, they go book for their weapon. The number of ammunition they carry is noted. It means if something
that one
happens,
is legal.
Yeah,
we're talking about this illegal means now. Those criminals that have access, undeniable access to weapons, and they could use it at will at any time. Should we fold our hands? I think, as for me, I will be in support of arms, so that the government can give everybody license, so that we'll carry arms. We'll carry arm and move about the street to defend ourselves.
I've answered you.
You've answered that one.
I told you number one.
And what about those people?
Everybody,
the bigger politicians,
I'm coming.
For instance, that carry licensed arms. Are they too for hunting? Some of them don't have policemen guiding them. They used to carry arms in their vehicle, move about. Does that mean that they are going for hunting?
Everybody. The Firearms Act did not grant immunity to anybody that because you are a politician, you can carry weapon. No. It's very clear. If as a serving police officer cannot just carry gun and begin to go anywhere, or won't you go and book? So if you go and book, they will not ask you.
Well, you remind me of something.
Yes, I'm coming.
Maybe next time I will invite you about those ones carrying those guns on checkpoints and collecting some stipends from people. That won't be now.
You raise an issue, and I need to address it.
All right, sir.
The point is, you must understand the law. And every police officer is blind to anything, but his eyes are open to the law.
Okay.
A police officer his reasoning is, what does the law say?
Exactly.
So when you come,
that is the experience and top police officers.
We
because there are those ones.
I'm coming.
Anyway,
I just need you to listen. Any weapon that is born illegally, whoever bears it, is 10 years imprisonment.
Okay.
Minimum.
Okay.
Unlawful possession of firearms, ammunition and all that, it's 10 years.
Good.
Minimum. So even if you are in the forest, if Dan Atai is in the forest, and the police come there and arrest you, or you have AK or you have an AK magazine with loaded, you are arrested. I hope you understand.
I understand.
That means the forest guards, that unit that was very prominent in those days, should be doing their work. In the process of doing their work, they come across something like that, they report. And that is why taking security from the base
is important.
I said bottom up is key. And I told you another thing, that everything that we do is about support to the authority.
And cooperative.
And cooperation. Look, and that is why, and I gave a hint. Maybe you missed it because you're not a policeman. But if any police officer is listening to me,
I have record of everything
I made the point. I said, we are talking of proliferation. Yes, we agree. Some people are in government spaces in the forest. Let us also, what we are looking for in Sokoto may be in our Sokoto. Let us also look. This security, this vigilante supporting us. It might be a village, they have neighborhood watch. The DPO, the Commissioner of Police, can tell the DPO, I need the complete record. Their names, their telephone numbers.
I'm not sure they have been doing that.
No, they are. But I'm further re-emphasizing it.
Okay.
Yes. They have that record. Then weapons. So that, and where they store their weapons, their armory. So that the DPO can decide today, let me go and check. Why is this one not here?
Exactly.
Where did they take it to?
Yes.
It's very important. Even the ones set up by their excellencies, some of the outfits. I say all sense of responsibility. Because we are looking for big things. Oh, proliferation. Big word. No. Look at small. Security is about doing small things. And before you know it, the whole place is calm. Before you know it, the weapon the guys are bringing in, they can be intercepted. Because you have empowered the village head. You have empowered the
vigilante.
And when they talk to you, that we saw some people, you come and you did not compromise the source, they are going to keep it coming. But the police, the military, the DSS, and all of them, respect for human rights is going to endear the public. And then making the public realize that they are also police officers. It's just that they are not in uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have a role to play.
Anyway, thank you for coming. AIG Wesin Inaligo retired on Spectacle.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And I think our audience, you have learned, you heard from the expert himself about the cry from Mr. President on proliferation of arms and the request from Governor Samuel Otom that citizens be allowed to use arms. We're checking the nexus between the two, and AIG has dished it out to you. You can drop your comments in furtherance to the topic on our social media platform if you viewed us live from any part of the world. And don't forget, most of the stories could be found on the Nigerian News tabloid online. The Nigerian News, you can search it on your Facebook, your Twitter, anywhere you get the stories that we have just dished you. Thanks for watching, and I have been Daniel Atai. See you tomorrow. Spectacle. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigerian. I am Daniel Atai. Spectacle on Television Nigerian.